Hi, I'm Tony Ray Baker.
And I'm Darren.
Hey, we're at the Presidio Museum today in downtown Tucson, and we're excited to show you what's going on down here. Today starts some events. We want you to meet Aaron.
Hi.
And Aaron, what do you do here?
I am a docent and a reenactor. I help out people to get an idea of what happened here in the past and provoke thought. That's some of our job. Not to be perfect, not to speak in Spanish or Indian languages, but tell a little bit about the history of all of our ancestors.
Nice. And then you're going to show us a little bit about how this was laid out. Where are we standing right now? Am I in
Okay, we are in downtown Tucson in a recreation of a territorial area here.
Okay.
We will step up shortly into a recreation of part of the Spanish Imperial Presidio from the 1700s. Note that this whole area is only 1/16 the size of the original fort, which was 700 feet to a side, went all the way down to the Santa Cruz for the west wall.
Wow.
So note that the original foundations go under this area. The original fort, along with things much older, including Indian pit houses, like these two under the house you just came through, and some burials too, are under our feet.
Nice.
And we're going to step up. You have a number, see the numbers here. We have a number of stations, reenactors showing everything, soldiers, a blacksmith, weaving, food making, and each of these people tells you a bit about the history. And note, some of our jobs, real quick, each of these people has about 5 minutes to really engage visitors that come through when we do these living histories.
So when I see the food and the candle making and the toys and the games, then if somebody brought their family here with children, they would actually be interested. The kids would have something. Did they actually play games or show them what games are like?
Show them some of the games, engage them. We have them hands-on to do a number of these things.
And then the food part I get to eat?
Yes, you get to eat. I get to eat. That's important.
That would be big.
Yeah, but no. Yeah, now some things like the blacksmith, I was helping run their bellows, and usually when there's a visitor, adult or a kid, they have at least get a visitor to help out, pump those bellows slowly while the blacksmith works and explains. There's all of these things, there's at least something to try and do some hands-on, like with the naturalist, let me point there.
Nice.
We'll look at that table shortly, has a number of specimens. But we'll go out into here. Later, I'll note the word cannon set up right here. We'll fire that off about 3 times today.
Wow.
And there'll be at least one musketry demonstration by the soldiers.
Is there a specific time that those cannons go off if somebody wanted to see that occur?
Yes.
It's on a schedule?
Notice we have also our sign in every other thing here.
Right.
But the musket volley fire with the explanation of how it works. No hands-on for the kids or anyone else on the muskets.
You won't let me fire the cannon?
If we get some important person here who helped us raise funds, then
I hear
cannon
it.
firing 11 a.m., 12, and 2, and another 1 p.m. musket run. So 3 cannon shots.
Nice. Great. We're following you.
Okay.
Awesome.
So as we step up, I'll pop on. Something about the missions here. That is a 100-year-old fig tree, growing well because it's on the site of the outhouse for that home, the 1800s home.
Yeah.
But it's a black mission fig. Remember, think of all the Jesuits, all the Franciscans, Dominicans, all those orders, bringing all the knowledge from Europe and the Mediterranean world, how to grow food here, to try and make friends with the Indians, which is hard enough because they're occupying and taking over.
Right.
But,
so offer the fig.
I've
That's
eaten
beautiful.
figs off this too.
Is it delicious?
Yes.
That's a beautiful tree.
Yep, don't eat it directly. Pomegranate, I think we still have 1 up in the tree. The rest are harvested or in the shop. I've got 2 in my fridge and a couple other trees. Rick.
I'm gonna let you get a pan over there of all the soldiers.
At the back of the cannon, I'm not going to interrupt because, to explain it, is he's checking them through the procedures.
Okay.
Because they drill. A number of the soldier crew here went to cannon school in St. Augustine, Florida, where they have a much larger preserved mission, hospital, and fort.
That's awesome.
And so they're going to do what they learned, proper procedures. That's number one.
Yeah.
Then also they are doing the commands in Spanish, but period Spanish. Also.
Oh, okay.
It's not just modern Spanish. They're doing procedures as they would have been done. Spanish Imperial Army.
So probably no inappropriate slang.
No. I'll note they also one part of the step is they pray to the Saint of Artillery, Santa Barbara.
Nice.
And the charge that they do fire here is it's about a third of what it would have been on the original cannon. Black powder, oatmeal, and then coffee creamer. Coffee creamer for flame.
Okay.
Oatmeal for it helps combust and make a show. It used to be dried old bread, but there used to basically unfortunately what happens when we fire it down the alley there, it went into the restaurant La Cocina, little bit chunks of toast in the wall.
Toast in the wall.
So that had to be changed.
So you just gave us a little secret that the coffee creamer helps with the flame.
Basically the powder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And then what is we have a cute little bird here. ready to attack. It's a chicken. It's an attack chicken.
This is our Presidio chicken.
Presidio
this is
chicken.
adorable.
He's really pretty.
Yeah.
Say, I'm a girl.
Oh, she's
sorry
really
about
pretty.
that.
Jeez.
Sorry, girl.
Yeah.
Pretty girl.
Nice. Handles. Very cool. So, did you get a pan? Can you get a pan this way so you can see how pretty this is? So I've been here all my life, and I've never known this existed.
Add a couple things on this. This here, 2007 creation built. You'll note you can almost see it on the ground there. Why this was preserved was see right here.
James, check this out.
Got it.
Why among all these buildings was this here? Because the city had this as a parking lot.
Okay.
That's why it was available. So even though the fort went actually from that street to that tall building there,
Yeah.
two times as more beyond.
Wow.
And just remember there are other archaeological finds because that Santa Cruz River, which you see is dry, and you can go running or walking your dog in it.
Right.
Up in the late 1800s had water here above ground most of the year round. So
Oh,
think
did you
in
know
all this
that?
Tucson area, actually up around to the mountains, it used to be mostly grassland, and there were about 7 marshes in it as well. This is a place with deer, not just the mountains, it's all around deer, beaver, all the water animals, many birds. That's what it looked like starting in the 1700s with some Indian fields around near the river, water source for food.
Yeah.
Then the Spanish came about starting to settle, well not settle, to make a fort, 1775. Then it would have looked like fields all around for a few miles.
Wow, I had no idea. That's really interesting. So, and then this is a block made from
This is not adobe because of making all these walls. All these walls are not stucco, they're real walls, but they're decode. These are not authentic adobe because the maintenance costs are horrendous.
Yes.
These are halfway to being concrete, but to illustrate, inside the fort you're always rebuilding. You're having the task of making new blocks,
Right.
making new storage ways. And I'll note, you might not be able to see it, but you see some little white tufts on the base of that wall?
I do.
Those are little wicks to wick out moisture.
Okay.
And think here in Tucson, there's some other projects, mainly like some of the Catholic main churches downtown. They're rebuilding, they had adobe. It's a horrendous problem.
Yeah.
So, but even those wicks, even though this is halfway to being concrete, you still need to wick out the moisture.
Right.
10 times worth with adobe.
Wow.
Okay.
Very nice.
Interesting.
And then, so can you tell me what's happening over here? That's
Okay.
the food place that I got all excited about.
Note, under that Ramada, food stations, pozole and tortillas. Also, you note the oven there, the horno.
Yes.
And they're cooking up a fire. What will happen later is probably they'll be making some bread. Because the fire is not to immediately cook it.
Right.
The fire is to cook and heat that thick walls of that oven.
Yes.
Then you put a shut door on it, and you cook whatever you're doing. Behind there, that's a storehouse for all our stuff. Then the other door is entrance to 2 kinds of living quarters, which you can also show around if you like.
Nice.
And
Yeah,
let's
let's
see.
take a peek.
I see.
We're okay. We're totally fine.
Yeah. Okay. You want me to float back? Because I can just take them around for now.
You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
So you said pozole, like the pork soup.
Let's sit on and let's see who's here. And we can also float around the tables, whatever you like. And introduce.
Hi, how are you?
Put you partly on the spot.
We're putting her on
his
the
video
Your name is
show.
Ann?
What are we doing? Oh,
Oh.
Your name is Ann?
no, my name is Rebecca.
Oh, Rebecca. Hi,
Rebecca.
Tony. Very nice to meet you. We just
Hi,
thought we'd
Tony.
throw you on the spot. This is
Oh.
Darren.
Hi, how are
And that's
you?
James.
Hi, James. How are you?
Yeah, so what are you making? He was saying tortillas and
Yes.
pozole?
Yes.
Soup?
Yes. Pozole was
My favorite
or is a
soup.
traditional stew that was eaten by the gente back in the day of the Presidio.
Yeah.
The pozole that we'll be serving today is with pork and the hominy.
Which is more traditional pozole with
Yes.
the pork and the hominy.
Right.
I love
right.
pozole.
Yes. But really, back in the day, the chicken was more prevalent.
Because they had
the Spanish ate the chicken, but the natives would eat whatever they could, rabbit or javelina, whatever they could get, and then they would add that to their.
So
their
there was
stew.
rabbit pozole.
Yeah, back in the day when people couldn't.
That's
yeah,
crazy to think,
When
huh?
people couldn't get pork,
Yeah.
because pork was also very prestigious too.
Wow,
back in the
nice.
day. So we're having pozole. We're also going to be making tortillas. We are making tortillas out of the white flour. We also have some that we'll be making out of the Sonoran wheat flour, which was really more traditional of what was milled here
Okay.
in the Presidio. So we're going to try that today.
Nice.
We also have prickly pear jelly that's made from the
Ah.
fruit of the prickly pear.
Beautiful.
And then we also have some churned butter that we're serving today. So folks will be able to put this on their tortillas and try the pozole and get a taste of what the food was like back in the day.
So like I said, we've lived here all our lives. I've been here for 40 plus years, and I've never been to this location.
Yes.
You're at 196 Court, is that right?
I have to double check the exact
196
address.
Court?
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And you're right near El Charro restaurant
There's
for
El Charro
so if
and
people
La
know where El
Cocina,
Charro's is in
or
La
the
Cocina,
Tucson Art Museum.
The Tucson Art Museum, so you're really easy to find. Wow, so can we check this out
Yeah.
before we leave? I heard there's Thank you for doing
Oh,
that.
you're welcome.
incredible.
I
I
also
appreciate
wanted to add
Please.
this. What this is also is that we are in the process of drying the chili.
Nice.
And what will happen is that the chili, the goal is to dry it completely so that it can then be boiled down, and then it can be. Back in the day, they didn't have blenders, but they would use their I can't remember what that thing is called, but they would kind of grind it down
Okay.
from a paste into more of a liquidy,
Yes.
and then they would be able to cook it.
Wow.
And do you put some of that in the pozole?
Yes, that's what is
Nice.
in the pozole now. It has red chili, it has spices, it has the meat product, and then it has the honey. But this is how the people back in the day would be able to preserve the red chili so that they would use it whenever they need it.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
Isn't it lovely?
Yeah. We do those, we buy them and then the dried strings, and then we take them and make the chili powder
Yes,
ourselves
yes.
for cooking for throughout the year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
that
thank
was
you
really
for
incredible.
letting
Thank you
us
for joining
just
us
invade
today.
your
Yeah.
space really quickly.
Delighted to
Snapped
have
on
you.
them directly.
Yeah, no, probably not.
I don't think so. People mix the chocolate with the red chili and they make mole. This is
Oh.
supposed to be good, but
It's very
I-
good.
I don't know that I would recommend you take one of these and chop up. I like this, and it's conditioned now.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
You're
And then
welcome.
this is the entrance to living quarters.
Yeah, two separate or an exhibit. It's not
No, you
exactly
copy.
as it would have been. I'll note what I usually do though when I have people in and I have guests, they're in the heat, then I bring them into this thick walled place, and even with an open door, there's immediate temperature drop. Really works. Original, I'll rattle off a couple of
Please
things.
do.
This wall would have gone up higher, up to the wall. There would be a doorway for this room, one doorway for that room. And note, I said doorway, not door, because originally it would have just been hide strips.
Interesting.
Why? Because this is a frontier post. I think this fort, the Presidio-Tucson, was part of a chain of forts going from Gulf to Gulf,
Okay.
from the Atlantic all the way to the Pacific. Why was it on 1700s and not the 1600s?
Yeah.
Spaniards have been fighting Indians, assimilating, conquering, whatever. But now I mentioned that they brought over trees and then other animals. There's pigs and there's other things brought over. Spaniards also brought the horse. Horse died out in the Americas during sometime around the Ice Age. No horses.
Right.
Birds got loose, spread out all the way north to Canada, all the way that we think all those Great Plains horse herds. Now that all the people here, all the Indians, before that, they're going someplace to some other place. They've got a sack, they're carrying, or they've got a dog pulling a travois. That's it. They're on foot. Everybody's on foot. Then the horse comes. No, the one, I don't remember if it's Sioux, but word for horse might be like 6 dogs.
Okay.
Because it can carry or pull the weight of 6 dog travois pulling dogs. So now you've got a new kind of Indian. It did not exist. So we have the Sioux and all their neighbors. And remember, the people who were there before, they either changed into horse nomads or they went away. They got pushed out or gone.
Okay.
And then so north here, and they pushed people down, including the Apache and their cousins, the Navajo. And then over in the Texas area, similar forts because of the Comanche. Texas, lots of flat. You drive through, lots of flat. Good place to run horse nomads through. So very dangerous. And here, the Apache, not the big, say, horse warriors, but extremely clever, extremely dangerous, adapted to survive. When they're being pressed, think by the Sioux and the Comanche, and they're running into all the city or town-dwelling agricultural Indians here who the Apache are raiding, and then the Spaniards come. So all those people who are dangerous, the Apache are being squeezed or squeezing back on to get food.
Fascinating.
So a whole new kind of Indian, so a whole new chain of forts on the edge of Imperial New Spain.
Wow.
Now to take a look here.
And this would be a typical soldier's house.
Or actually, no,
Soldier's
I'll say this would be soldiers' quarters, 3 or 4 guys.
Okay.
This, yeah, okay, 3 or 4 guys, soldiers' quarters, and they're here, private soldiers, not their wives. Notice they're, and come on over here. This is where they'd be sitting down or kneeling on these pads. Not the, and this, remember, on the frontier, they don't have all the fine dishware. Commandant might have ordered something up over time, but remember, when they start up here, they build a wood fort, they chop logs down, then they later build a adobe. Frontier, they don't have all the quite the amenities. But even as simple as it is, a soldier up here is relatively middle class compared to most people.
Wow.
We in the Spain, that'd be Spain, or actually same Europe, elsewhere in Europe or Asia. Soldiers of this level for Imperial Spain is middle class. And note here, long lances, because most of these guys are cavalry. If you're on foot, you've got a lance or spear this high. Muskets, smooth bore. There are different patterns than what, say, the British use, but remember, this fort was founded in 1775 to link it to back east. Think what's happening in the British colonies, 1775. This is about the same thing as, say, a British brown bass. All this history is going on at the same time. There are even records of number of the Imperial Spain and some Spanish soldiers sending money to the American Revolution, partly because Spain and Britain are fighting as well. So all this is going on, and I'll mention some of the walls out there were on the 4 corners of the remaining crumbling walls decades ago. Was it 4 monuments put there by the Daughters of the American Revolution? Why would they celebrate a Spanish fort? Because Imperial Spain did support the American Revolution, so that group posted markers for them. Now they don't know. Clothing.
Wow.
Now this is saying women or men, top garment, though is going to be in wool. That includes June, July, August.
Oh. That sounds
Why in
treacherous.
Spanish society you had whatever your ethnic background, if you wanted status, whether you're pure Castilian or Indian born here, you had to dress and talk and so on like a Spaniard. Top clothes would then be wool. Now, if you're out working, more like my clothing, then this is wool, but this is not. If you're out immediately working, that's different. But otherwise, top garment wool. These are actually not wool. Why? Because the authentic ones that were put up by the people who originally set this recreation up, they put wool ones up. Bugs got to them. So we can't be entirely authentic.
Yes.
Which is also the reason why some of these buildings are set up the way they are to meet building code.
Fascinating.
So Aaron, there's a lady here that has some history with the Rebecca. That
Rebecca,
they're
yes.
connected in some way.
Rebecca, at least, I believe one of her ancestors was related to people who lived here at the fort.
Wow, that's pretty.
There was a group, Los Descendientes. There are that trace people back to original rosters, soldiers and others who were at the fort.
Nice.
There are records, whether in Mexico City and other places around, of correspondence, what the Spaniards here did.
Nice.
Oh, and I'll note, when I say Spaniards, the original, let's say, 1,600 groups of Spanish imperial regiments that came over would often, some were, say, Basque or Catalan. One group was Catalan. They came over from Spain, what's called Spain, but they didn't grow up speaking Spanish. When they entered the Spanish Imperial Army, then they started learning Spanish.
Yeah.
So think that it was a multi-ethnic
It's a different
group
language.
already.
We've been to Spain. It's very and heard the language. It's very different than Spanish. So here's the lady. Can we meet her? She was just wanting to say hi and. There she is.
Hello.
Okay. So if you'll introduce us, that would be great.
Okay. My name is Rachel Reese Pollock, and this is my sister.
Rebecca Reese Valenzuela.
And we're both work here volunteers, but we have a specific reason.
And and that is because we are very proud to say that we are volunteers here and proud of the Presidio because this is where our fourth generation grandfather, Alejandro Granillo, was a soldier in 1831.
Wow, that is so.
So, yeah.
So we have ancestors here, so we feel like we are obligated to be here, keep them alive.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And
really
to
amazing.
pass on that legacy, not only to our children and our families, but also to the residents of Tucson who may not know, like you said, about the Presidio.
They
That
don't
is,
even know they have family here that
Yes.
once
Right.
walked here.
Right.
They probably don't even know.
Incredible.
That's amazing.
so we're
But
we're
if
very
Well, thank you for
interested,
being
fine.
here and doing this, and
Thank you for
hopefully
coming
we're
out.
going to have a lot more people that get to come appreciate this beautiful
Yes.
place.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Yes,
And
thank you.
Aaron, thank you so much for taking us on this walk today.
Sure.
So
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Fantastic.
They're getting ready to do their drill if you want
So
to
they're
go.
getting ready to do a.
They're going to
Must
do
get freedom.
a volley that calls they line up the men and they'll fire either one at a time or simultaneously.
Go ahead, James, and spin over there, and then that'll be our goodbye.
So many Japanese armored pieces have the very dark blue lace, you know? So. Oh yeah, I have Coach Neil.
Cargan! Thank you, Mike.
Start back at the beginning. So, go back to shoulder. Cross. Go back up. Okay, Cargan, you're going to be on the right side. Like that. Okay?
Remember,
That's-
after the fire,
You
you
looked
come
in.
back to the side
No,
at
no.
half cock.
You should be like this. Oh. Point it up. Take your cartridge out of your body. Tear it first. Put the ball down, grab the knee, and then draw the round. Bounce it.
para las armas. Apunten. Fuego. One more run through and then we'll go out. Cargan!
Are we still going? Yeah. That was pretty awesome. So you have to come out here. There's so much more to see than what we showed you, actually. There's a lot of really neat people with a lot of information here about history. You were just talking to a lady about how they did clothing. There's the toy maker. We didn't get to meet the blacksmith. So
How they collect the dyes.
yeah,
the
bugs.
water.
There's bugs involved in dyeing
That's-
clothes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Fascinating.
So you have to come out here. It's 196 Court Avenue. This is called the San Agustin Presidio Museum of
yes.
Tucson. I may have messed that up a little bit, but it's still worth. You've got to come out here and see it. And thank you so much for being with us today.
As
I'm
they-
Tony Ray
as they
Baker.
fire. I'm Darren Jones.